They worked in complete secrecy. They cracked one of the most complex codes in history. But what if I told you no one knew about them for decades? These code breakers were some of the brightest minds of their time, but their story almost disappeared. They were called the secret code breakers of Bletchley Park, and today we're going to tell you all about them. So get ready for the first credit card swipe, because today we're talking about the people who made swiping your card possible. We'll uncover the secrets they kept for over 60 years. Imagine a world where privacy is impossible, where every move you make is tracked and intercepted. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Well, during World War II, this wasn't just a fantasy. It was a terrifying reality. The Germans had invented a machine called Enigma, a device so complex it seemed unbreakable. Its ability to generate billions of possible code combinations daily left the Allies baffled. Communication was vital, but how could they exchange information when every transmission could be monitored? This enigma threatened to turn the tide of war. But amidst this global conflict, there was a small team of individuals who rose to the challenge. At Bletchley Park, a country estate in rural England, an army of code breakers assembled. Their mission? Crack the Enigma code. Among them was a mathematician named Alan Turing. You see, Turing wasn't a spy or a soldier. He was a thinker. His mind was a labyrinth of logic and mathematics. He saw patterns where others saw chaos. He found order in complexity, and he was about to put those skills to the ultimate test. In the quiet halls of Bletchley Park, Turing and his team embarked on a race against time. They needed to decode the messages encrypted by Enigma, which was changing the way wars were fought. To do this, they needed to understand the Enigma machine. And here's how it worked. Enigma was like a typewriter that could scramble letters. Let's say we want to send the letter A. We type A on the keyboard, and instead of printing A, it prints Z. That's because the machine has a setting that shifts each letter 3 places down the alphabet. So A becomes L. Then we need to know the day's secret code number. Once we have the number, we rotate the first ring as many times as the number tells us. Now, when we type A, it will print F, our new secret message. But this process was much more complicated than you think. In fact, the Enigma machine had rotors that had 26 letters on each. Each rotor could be moved to any of the 26 starting positions, and there were 5 or 8 rotors in use at any given time. Also, the wiring inside the machine scrambled the signals even more. Simply put, it was a very complex process. The Germans believed that the Enigma machine was unbreakable, and for a while, the Allies couldn't decipher its messages. But Alan Turing had a different view. For him, the seemingly random patterns of Enigma held a hidden order waiting to be discovered. His solution came when he realized that Enigma's complexity could be its weakness. If they could recreate the machine's intricate workings, they could potentially reverse the encryption process. And that's precisely what he did. He designed a machine called the Bomb. Think of the Bomba as a very sophisticated game console from the future. Just like Enigma, the Bomba could shuffle letters and numbers around, but it could do it way faster. With its help, the code breakers could test thousands of possibilities in mere hours, not days. It was a breakthrough. But here's the thing, building one of these machines wasn't easy. It was like trying to recreate a top-secret video game from scratch. They didn't have the internet or Google back then, so they had to figure everything out from the ground up. They experimented with gears, rotors, and electrical signals, testing countless configurations until finally they got it right. Once they cracked the Enigma code, the messages flowing from German U-boats and military headquarters were suddenly readable. The Allies were now on the inside of Nazi Germany's war plans. They knew about troop movements, supply routes, even top-secret weapon tests. It was a game changer. But why haven't we heard about this before? Well, the work at Bletchley Park was shrouded in secrecy. They didn't want anyone knowing how they decoded the messages, just in case the Germans ever changed the algorithm. For over 60 years, the existence of Bletchley Park and the names of those involved were kept secret under the Official Secrets Act. It was only in the 1990s that the story began to emerge. So who were these secret code breakers and why should we know about them? Well, let me introduce you to some of them. There was Joan Clark, a mathematician who joined Bletchley Park in 1938. She was brilliant, but her gender almost prevented her from joining. See, back in the 1930s, women weren't exactly encouraged to pursue careers in math or code breaking. But Joan was determined. She not only broke through the gender barriers of her time, she also helped design the equipment that cracked Enigma. Then there was Hugh Alexander. He was one of the first people to join the team. Back in 1932, he was part of a group that met secretly to try and break the Enigma code. When Bletchley Park opened, he was in charge of finding talented people to recruit to the team. He played a major role in turning amateurs into a highly effective code-breaking force. And let's not forget Bill too. He was the one who figured out how the Enigma machine's rotors were connected. Without this knowledge, cracking the code would have been impossible. He was a self-taught expert in cryptography, and his skills were instrumental in the Allied victory. These are just a few of the many unsung heroes of Bletchley Park. Together, they formed a secret army, an army that didn't carry guns or fight on battlefields, but whose impact was just as significant. They were the ones who helped shorten World War II, potentially saving millions of lives. It's hard to overstate the significance of their work. Historians estimate that the deciphering of Enigma messages by Bletchley Park's code breakers may have shortened the war by as much as 2 years. Imagine that. To fewer years of war, to fewer years of death, destruction, and despair. It's a sobering thought. Beyond the war, their work laid the foundation for modern computing. The machines they built are considered precursors to today's computers. They helped usher in the digital age, but their story remained hidden for decades. It was only in the late 20th century that the veil of secrecy began to lift. Some credit goes to a Polish mathematician named Marian Rejewski. Back in 1932, he and his team had managed to decrypt some Enigma messages. They alerted the French and British authorities, kicking off the efforts that would eventually lead to Bletchley Park. However, after the war, many of these early efforts were overshadowed by the American contribution led by John von Neumann. As a result, Rejewski and his team remained largely unknown, but now their story is finally getting the attention it deserves. Museums and memorials have been set up to honor the code breakers of Bletchley Park. Their names are being etched in history, ensuring that their contributions are never forgotten. As we reflect on the legacy of these extraordinary individuals, let's take a moment to consider the impact they had on our world. Their dedication and brilliance helped bring an end to World War II, shaping the course of human history. But their impact goes beyond the wartime achievements. The principles and innovations they developed laid the groundwork for the digital revolution. Can you imagine a world without computers, smartphones, or the internet? Without Turing and his fellow code breakers, that might have been our reality. Their story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the importance of embracing diversity in STEM fields. Despite facing gender discrimination and societal norms, women like Joan Clark made significant contributions to the field of code breaking. Meanwhile, self-taught experts like Bill too proved that formal education wasn't the only path to brilliance. The work of Bletchley Park's code breakers was a true hidden gem, a secret that remained buried for decades. But now their story is finally being told, ensuring that these unsung heroes get the recognition they deserve. But the question remains, can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing, that might have been our reality. If you enjoyed this glimpse into history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shape our world. Until next time, keep thinking outside the box, and who knows, you might just be the next code breaker.